Hey Ringside crew, welcome to the internationally known Dudes at Ringside podcast. And now here's your host, Joe, Panther III.
Hello there, wrestling fans. Welcome to another episode of the internationally known Dudes at Ringside podcast. I am Joe Panther III, and today, Ringside crew, you are in for a treat. Let's give a warm Dudes at Ringside welcome to Benny Blanco. Welcome to Dudes at Ringside, Benny. Welcome.
What's going on, everybody? What's going on? And you know, my boy Joe, what up? What up? What up? What up, man?
Not much, man. Just hitting this trail, man. We're close to the end of 2024, and man, 3-year anniversary this year of Dudes at Ringside. It's been a grind, man. Having everybody from Lucius Crow to tons of NYWC wrestlers coming on this podcast over the 3 years. So if my internationally known audience is not familiar with you, now this is your turn. Introduce yourself.
Okay. For starters, I gotta start off and salute my people from the New York City area. Y'all know what this is. Yeah. It's your boy, Benny effing Blanco. And if you know, now you know. And if you didn't know, you should already know. You feel me? So, listen, I'm just a New York-based wrestler, and I actually started in Florida. But we'll get into that. And I'm just coming up. I've been in the business for 5 years, and I have a unique name, which is Benny Blanco. It's orchestrated from a movie called Carlito's Way, played by John Leguizamo, famous actor everybody knows. And listen, Benny Blanco's straight out of the Bronx, you know, and he's a character of his own. He's a character of his own. He's just a kid born in the '90s, from the '90s, repping the '90s, turned up to 1,000, and now he's taking the wrestling independence by storm and just bringing pure entertainment. But at the same time, he wants everybody. I'm talking about from women, men, kids, everybody in general. All he wants them to do is say "you're" and also shake those shoulders.
I like that, Benny. I like that. So, who trained you?
Mm, mm. Well, for starters, like I said, I started in Florida, and I know. In the wrestling industry, that's a cardinal sin. Oh, you're from New York and you're training. No. I decided to start wrestling a little later in my life, and so Pablo Marquez, if you guys don't know who that is, he's very internationally known. Excuse me, and he started Coastal Championship Wrestling
Oh,
straight out of
CCW. I
Florida.
know them. Yeah,
CC
yeah.
Dub, yes. And I'm one of the students that came out of there, and I'm a Pablo Marquez guy. Pablo Marquez is from ECW slash WWE. If you don't know, he's the guy that used to eat the sardines and kiss the women.
Okay.
And so he's been around training the people that we see today. I'm talking about from MVP to working alongside with Rocky Johnson and other people legendary that we've seen that came across CCW. Pablo's been in that mix, and I'm fortunate enough to say that he was one of many trainers to train me, because I have a list of trainers. But
Wow.
to start off my career, I want to say Pablo Marquez gave me that opportunity.
Awesome. So, what kind of advice did Pablo give you? Like, what kind of words of wisdom has he given you to like make you become this character? Did Was it some of his inspiration, or is it, I know you said it's from Carlito's Way, but like, is there any like words that he took that you tossed into like Benny Blanco?
Mm. So, um, I'm gonna be honest. I can't take credit for the name, and because the name was given to me. The
Okay.
name was it's orchestrated from the movie, yes, but the name was given to me because if you don't know, now you know. Vince Steele is my mentor. Vince Steele is a New York native wrestler. He started in Doghouse. He came alongside like names like Homicide, Low Key, and other guys that came from that era of the Doghouse training facility. And he saw me. He met me. And he met me through Pablo. And he was in Florida one time for a show at CCW. And he's like asking Pablo, yo, who's this loudmouth kid? Like, this kid talks so much. And I don't know if we can curse on the podcast,
Oh, you
but
can curse. We're
this
not
guy,
censored.
this guy was like, yo, this kid talks so much shit. He runs his mouth crazy. And you know who he reminds me of? He reminds me of Benny Blanco from Carlito's Way. A young upstart kid that just is flashy and talks so much. And I think that's what he should go by. That's what he should monarch. And that name clicked. It clicked. Once me and Vince met, it was like a big brother, little brother relationship. And we've known each other for 5 years now. But I can't move on without saying that Pablo always told me, you know what, when I first started, I was like, hey, listen, and a little insight of why I'm in the wrestling industry is not because, not only because I'm in a fan and stuff like that, it's because my mom put me on to wrestling. Her favorite wrestler to date is The Undertaker.
Ooh.
And I tried to get into wrestling at a young age as a fan watching, and I was scared because I saw my mom watching wrestling, and I'm like, what is this? Like, and she's like, oh, sit here, sit here, sit here. And I'm like, roughly like maybe 2 to 4 years old. And I'm trying to like intrigued by what's going on. And when I saw The Undertaker come out, I'm like, nah, I ran. Like, I'm not watching this. There's a dead guy on TV, like rolling his eyes in the back of his head. And I'm looking at my mom like, yo, you crazy? Like, this is nothing that a kid should watch. And she used to record all the matches, every show known to man. I'm talking about VHS record. Every
Mm.
pay-per-view that came out recorded. And so I caught on and I watched and I watched and I fell in love. But what got me to be a worker, a performer, an entertainer, and to put my body on the line for the last 5 years was my departed friend, good friend, close friend. I want to call him my brother, my inspiration to this industry, Matt Travis.
Mm.
And if people don't know who Matt Travis is, he was an talented, gifted wrestler. Oh my God. He started in House of Glory.
Mm. What has to? Yeah.
He was the protege of Amazing Red. And unfortunately, in 2019, he left us. He tragically died.
Mm.
But I was sitting at home in Florida, and when I got the news, I mourned and I was by myself. And I was coming off of being a dancer. I have a dance background, and I was a
Okay.
professional dancer. And I came to terms with myself and said, you know what? It's time to hang up the sneakers in the dance world. And I'm sitting at home, and that's when I got the news. And literally, um, it clicked. Like the next day, I get up, I grab my phone, and something clicked, and something told me to look for a wrestling school. And long and behold, CCW comes up.
Mm.
And I called Pablo, and the rest is history. And so so what I could leave you with is that Pablo always told me never to give up. Because I came into this industry my rookie year, like with an up and hill battle, and 3 months getting thrown into the fire, starting my first match, to where I pulled a double duty one night during a wrestling event for CCW, where I was fortunate enough to wrestle Pablo Marquez and Super Crazy on the same
Wow.
night in my rookie year, and it got me into some bad places after that. But with my mentor Vince Steele, my inspiration Matt Travis, the support system from my team, my guys like Sebastian Cage, Johnny Santos, Chris Taylor, Kamikaze,
I know
and guys,
Kamikaze.
yeah, like Jake St. Patrick and so Cha Cha Charlie, like these guys are not only my family, these are my brothers, and these
Mm.
guys are like, guys are the ones that kept me going,
Oh, wow.
and so, like I said, I got a list of trainers. Like it's not only Pablo. It's like I got blessed to train with Simon Gotch.
Oh,
From
wow.
yeah, from
He's a big name, Simon. I've been like that's like one guy that I would love to like. Did you get a chance to like pick his brain, Simon?
yes,
Because like
yes.
what kind of advice did you get from Simon? Like
Oh my
words of
God,
wisdom from him.
it the gems that the one good year that I got a chance to be with Simon. Um, it was great. It was great, and the gems, the heart to hearts that we shared, where he told me about he gave me a little background of as to why he was no longer with the WWE and all that, and it's not my place to share, but he was telling me, hey, listen, be you, be who you are. Don't ever let any industry change who you are. Don't ever let anyone take your blessings and turn it into misfortunes. And I love how authentic he is. Like when he trained us, he always dropped gems when he trained us because he trained us mat based wrestling, and I love that. And he trained us in shoot style wrestling, and he gave us he gave us psychology on as to why this move should be used, why this move should be used in a match, and he gave us insight as to, oh, look at what certain wrestlers do today, that certain things make sense in a match, certain things don't make sense in a match. Or why would you sell this? Why didn't you sell that? You know, he would nitpick at things that he felt like, you know what, this is what makes a match. This is what makes a wrestler. This is who you are. And when it came to me, he was always, always, always like not criticizing in a bad way, but criticizing in a sense of, brother, you got a name that can be household one day. And your name is dope. Like your name will be known. Like the minute anyone opens up their mouth and goes, yo, you ever heard of Benny Blanco? Oh my God, yeah. Like what? Not only the movie, not only the record producer, but have y'all heard about the wrestler? And
Mm.
he was telling me like, hey, listen, you should take Benny Blanco and you know have him come out in like all satin white, or do something that will personify the name. And I was rocking back and forth. I'm like, I don't know what to do. Like, I don't know how to bring Benny Blanco to life. And it just so happened. So I took everything that, for starters, I took everything that Pablo taught me. I took everything that Gotch taught me, and every other trainer that came along the side taught me. And I went to Vince Steele, and we went to the drawing board, and he was like, "Listen, let's change the game." And I said, "How are we gonna do this?" He goes, "Throw some overalls on.
Mm.
Get the overalls airbrushed. Put some light up sneakers on, and
Mm.
then the rest is history." And that's why you see this '90s nostalgia. And I come out. My entrance music is Crisscross Jump,
Oh, wow. Okay.
and it's like even before I'm announced, that song plays, everybody goes crazy. I get a pop
Yeah.
with the song alone. With the song alone, so it's like it's crazy, you know. And like I said, you know, I couldn't be me without thanking the other trainers. Like I went from Gotch to Jake St. Patrick, from Jake St. Patrick to Simbodi, from Simbodi to Joshua O'Hagan. I went to Puerto Rico. I got trained by Super Georgie.
Wow.
Uh, who else? It's a lot, but right now, currently I was training under the tutelage of Caveman and Anastasia Morningstar.
Yeah, I know
At
Cave.
W.
I know another wrestler I interviewed recently got interviewed by Caveman. So now you're working with Caveman and Miss Morningstar. What kind of information did you get from Caveman that was different than Morningstar?
Ooh, I was lucky enough to get to learn from both. It wasn't even like it was not even from like, okay, I'm gonna train under Caveman and then also train with Anastasia Morningstar. No, I was lucky enough to come into WWX when they were both there, and you know, Anastasia moved on to, you know, bigger and better things. I'm proud of her. She's doing the whole Mexico thing and flying all over the world, becoming internationally known. And but while she was there alongside with Caveman, oh my God, I got to learn how to treat my body. I learned how to have in-ring cardio with Anastasia. You know, I know how to. I was disciplined. I was humbled. With Caveman, I've learned how to, you know, turn my wrestling moves into like different parts. I've learned the different parts of a match. I've improved. I was mechanically tuned up. I was polished, you know, and so I'm fortunate to say that, you know, I'm glad that when I went back to New York and I walked into WWX, I was lucky enough to be trained by Caveman and Anastasia Morningstar. But I cannot, you know, take it away. I can't take all the credit because it was Joe Smooth that, you know, helped me get recruited into the school. You know, because I saw Joe Smooth at the school, and you know, we share a mutual friend like Matt Travis, and you know, I was like, listen, I want to do this. I see what y'all doing in New York. What's up? Like, I'm about to move back to New York, and you know, I want to look for a school, and I was so intrigued by going to House of Glory because I was so steadfast on finishing what Maddie started, you know, and that's my mission. My mission is also to make myself a household name, but I've told myself that when it comes to wrestling, I'm gonna finish what Maddie started. I'm gonna make sure his name lives long, not only through me but through everybody else.
Hmm.
So you know, unfortunately, I wasn't able to go to the House of Glory. So I ended up going to WWX and I got blessed. And then when I exited from WWX, I was fortunate enough to be trained by Adonis Stone, Chris Cage, and Grim Reaper.
Oh yeah, I know Grim Reaper. I remember him from the NYWC days. So like,
Yeah.
Reaper's been in the business for a long time. I've been always wanting to get him on the pod because I know he must have like thousands of stories from the ring and stuff like that. With a person like Reaper, like, does he like break things down differently than most people because he has so much grit on his tires and with the
Yes.
business?
Yes. Like when I first walked in, I was nervous. I'm like, I'm standing in front of Grim Reaper. Like, I'm like, I only got to see you in on YouTube or like GCW. I'm like, I'm actually like about to get trained. And his mindset is intricate. I'm talking about intricate. But once again, his authenticity is unreal. And I honestly think unmatched. Like if if you don't get a chance, this is what I say. Because I had a chance to cross paths with Loki. I've been in the ring with Loki. I've had a chance to talk to Loki back in Florida. But to the young men and women and to the people that's been in the industry, if you don't get a chance to cross paths with Homicide and Loki, honestly, the authenticity from Grim Reaper is a reminder of who those guys are, you know. And it's like it's like a combo of all three in one, because it's like if you ever want to speak to Homicide, in which I haven't got to, and one day I hope so, but I feel like when I got to speak to Grim Reaper and pick his brain, and he got to see what I can do in the ring, and he broke it down. I'm like, wow! Like I was speechless. Like every time I got in the ring, and it was time to train with the man himself. He would tell me like, hey, listen, I think this works. I think you should do this with Benny Blanco. I think you should start getting your body together. Like you look good, you're big, and give your form your body within 2 weeks, and then start adding stuff. Like start doing things that you don't normally do, like add a flip or two. And it's like, wow. And so now when I look back at my Florida days, and this is not to take anything from Pablo, Simon Gotch, Jake St. Patrick, but my progression then versus now, being in New York and having to be blessed that I got to go around almost all around the world and get trained by these phenomenal trainers, my elevation is there. Like my progress is there. And well, I gotta say thank you to these men and women that took the time and energy to train me and to get me where I'm at now. Cause look at me, what, almost four and a half, 5 years in the business, and I've been making noise.
Awesome. So, is there any other place in the world that you would like to travel to that you have not been to yet?
Oh my God. I've been to like a couple of states already, wrestling wise. I've been to Puerto Rico like 2 times already. Probably 3 times wrestling. I want to go to Canada.
Mm,
And my dream is to go to Japan.
yeah.
Is to go to Japan. And the reason why is like every time everybody's like Japan, I'm like, yeah, I want to go to New Japan. Like I want to go to New Japan. Like
Go to
they're
the
like,
dojo, you know what I mean? Get trained at the dojo.
yeah, and it's like I wanna, everybody's like, if you ever want to have a location to pick to go somewhere, would you go to WWE? Would you go to TNA? Would you go to NWA? Would you go to etc.? And I was like, those are all dope places to be at. But I feel like my heart is destined to go to Japan and work for New Japan Wrestling. And they're like, that's dope, but why? And I said, because of Will Ospreay.
Mm,
Like,
yeah.
I don't know Will Ospreay, and we haven't met. And I hope one day, and I know one day is gonna happen. Before he hangs those boots up, I know we're gonna cross paths. And if it's not in the ring, it sure damn is gonna be in the locker room.
Mm,
And I want to tell them that, you know, he's gonna be the reason why I leave the States and go to Japan, or go or take an excursion to the international waters and make a household name for myself over there, because I love Will Ospreay's story. He came up in his hometown. He was starting a name over there, and he wasn't reluctant enough to get that love and support. So he left and he
mm,
did his thing. He dipped and dabbed and did his thing, and he found a home in Japan. And look at him now. The kid is what, 30 years old, and been in the game for what, 12, maybe, yeah, since he was 18, so like 12 years. And it took for him to go international. It took for him to rebuild again and to come back to the States and show everybody that, look, I am Will Ospreay and I did it. Yeah, I did it internationally, but look, now that I'm back here, y'all got no choice but to love me, and that's how
Mhm.
I want to do it.
Awesome. So, with it being Thankful for Wrestling Month, what are you most thankful within the professional wrestling business?
Mm. I'm thankful that first and foremost, I gotta thank God. I'm not trying to make this a religious thing,
No,
and I
no, that's
respect
fine.
anyone's. I respect everybody and anyone's religious beliefs. But for me, I want to thank God. But it being I'm thankful Wrestling Month.
Yeah,
I'm thankful for my mom, and for one, for her making me a fan, and I'm thankful for having Matt Travis in my life when I had him because of him, I'm so fully in this business. Like, if it wasn't for him, I don't even know what I'd be doing. I think I'll still be in Florida trying to figure it out. Like trying to figure out how to be famous or how to like do what's the next best thing. And because of him, I get to live my dream, Like, so if we're
yeah,
talking about being thankful, I thank my mom and I thank Matt Travis for allowing me to believe in myself to step in the world of wrestling.
awesome. Before we go, if my fans want to get anything of like merch or anything of yours, 8x10s, is there like you have a website or any kind of thing that you can pick up any merch?
Yeah, I'm actually working with Dan Ram and his clothing website. So I do have a link. I always post that link on my Instagram, my Twitter/X, my Facebook, where you can catch me at. So if you guys want to reach out to me, my Instagram is the real Benny Effing Blanco, and then my Facebook is Benjamin White, and my Twitter/X is the real Blanco 6, and that's where you can catch me posting up what city or what state I'm going to be wrestling next. I have merch. I have my 8x10s, so I will be putting up the link there. But
Yes.
you guys could reach out to Dan Ram and his clothing website, and once you go there, type in Benny Blanco, and all my stuff will pull up.
Awesome. Before we go, Benny, if there was any kids watching and they had any inspirations of getting into the business, what kind of advice would you have for them?
Oh my God, the advice.
I
I'll tell
know
you straight
that
up.
that hits it. Some wrestlers that hits a special place, or
Yeah, it
kind of, oh
does.
no, oh
It
no.
does. It does, cause it's sentimental. Like, oh my God. So not to like keep it going, but um, if what would I tell a kid and any kids that want to not only do this but do something big in life? I tell them straight up, dream big, pray big, and that's my motto. And people don't know that's my motto. I live by that motto every day. And the reason why I do is because, and this is me telling the kids in the world and this generation, and I have kids myself. Um, Listen, I was once too in your position, and I was always told you would never amount to anything. You your dancing dreams are far fetched. You would never be a dancer. Excuse me. And look at me. For 10 years of my life, last 10 years of my life, I was a dancer, a professional dancer. I went all over the world. I was in music videos. I was fortunate enough to teach and do crazy things with dance. And I retired. And then look, fortunate I was blessed again, and now I'm fortunate enough to be 5 years in the wrestling business, making a name for myself and showing everybody that you can do it. You put your mind to anything, you can do anything and everything you want to do. You just got to be yourself. And I'm blessed that every trainer, every mentor that came along my way or crossed paths in my life, Like my circle now, Kevin Knight, Chris Bay, my boys Myron Reed, TJP.
Mm,
These guys are on TV right now, but I'm fortunate enough to call them my friends and everybody else that I've talked about in this podcast. They soulfully in a whole always told me, Blanco, be yourself. Be yourself
mm.
because you will get far. You want to break that brass ring, that you want to break that glass ceiling, then be yourself. And the one thing I want to tell you kids and tell everybody that has any dreams in what you guys want to do, when you wake up in the morning, every morning for the rest of your life, and you look at yourself in the mirror, and if you can be yourself, if you can know how to be yourself, then you'll be all right. And nobody can ever take that away from you.
Awesome. Benny, I want to thank you so much for coming on Dudes at Ringside. Um, good luck on your wrestling journey. This was a great interview. Thank you, Benny. I'm Joe Panther III.
Thank you. I'm Benny FM Blanco, you heard? And y'all better go check my man Joe, the Panther, the Third, etc., 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 etc. You better go check him out. You feel me?
And we will catch you in the next one. You heard?
Yeah.